you want there to be success for people somewhere deep inside our dark holes, our holes. Kind of works still in the weird way.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and this week I'm joined by Baffle Gabbers Jonathan Watkins.
Hello, hello.
Danae Hughes.
Oh, that's me. Hi.
And Ian Whittington.
Hello.
We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well. That's right. It is a 4-person B-team, BTS, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Away.
We are excited. Let's start here. Welcome, Ian Whittington, officially to the B-team. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, your
Ian?
initiation has begun.
Oh,
Yeah. Do we know what
This
we
is
want
an
to
odd
do?
way to tell me. I didn't know until 5 seconds ago.
Yes,
That's
Ian
a
is
surprise.
podcasting with an egg up his. Never mind.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was part
What
of
was
it.
this initiation? I
Like,
don't
what
remember
is
this initiation.
Oh, right.
Oh, you didn't get that email? Jonathan
Yeah.
sent that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
no, the egg made no sense when
I
it
don't
came in
know.
the post. Completely smashed to pieces.
I've never sorority'd or whatever the male fraternity. I've never fraternity, so I'm not sure if I know what hazing is. But I've seen that in some movies about an egg. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
You're like, I don't know what hazing is, but I do know what egg up an ass.
When I see a man that needs an egg up his ass, I know it.
Welcome, Ian. And yes, Ian is officially a part of the full-time CinemaSins team. So welcome aboard. And as an official member of the B team, you have a home here on BTS. So
My sins.
for your sins. So,
Quite literally.
So yes, we are excited that Ian is on board, and because there are now 4 of us who all have ultra important points to make about everything we're going to talk about today, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Let's get into the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sinning them, and how we felt about the stuff we are sinning. We kick it off in commercial sins. How do we feel about the Pepsi clown, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh my God. So as you guys know, I like to try to think through the assignments for these. And so obviously when I saw a murder clown, you know I've got to wonder what Jonathan thinks about it. So but what a strange commercial. Just what a strange one. I don't know how I felt about this one. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your script.
I had never
Jonathan.
seen it before. I didn't know anything about it. It's an interesting commercial. I will say, despite what I wrote, though, I actually am a Pepsi person. If I have to make a choice, I mean, I don't drink much.
What's
honestly,
the
don't drink a
difference?
lot of
Is
soda
it just
anymore. but-
sweeter?
Yeah,
It's
Pepsi's sweeter.
Yeah, it's sweeter.
Because I feel like when I have Coke, there's like a little bit more of a stabbing sensation in my throat
Yep.
from like the almost like the spice hits you different and
Correct.
maybe
Yeah.
even But then Pepsi is just a little smoother and sweeter,
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like you're just drinking sugar.
which
It's
is why I
kind
like
of amazing.
Coke better. I like Coke. I like to be like I have some activity, happening
Yeah.
rather than just be sugar.
Yeah.
But as some of the chat is mentioning, yes, the La La Land, that one came from my heart. So I'm not a La La Land fan.
If there's a way to eliminate me from writing the script, it would probably be that sin.
Well, but you could lie. That's
It's
we're
true.
writing for a narrator, not
It's true.
ourselves.
It's
But
true.
that was a true statement.
That's true. It's just not something that would have come to me the way it came to you, I think is probably fair to say. Yeah, Jonathan wrote on this one. Jonathan, did you have any other thoughts behind the scenes of the writing process and stuff you liked in the script, all that kind of stuff?
No, it was just fun. It was, it was just the commercial scenes are just interesting now that I've started writing a few more. It's just, I don't know. They're so short. I mean, even way shorter than music videos, but it's kind of crazy how much stuff you come up with and sometimes have to cut. But I don't know. I enjoyed mentioning, how clowns actually aren't scary. Most of them just look pretty silly. So I thought that was fun to be able to kind of chime in on that. But yeah, no, just, I'm glad you guys liked it. It was definitely fun. The La La Poo Poo thing was just thought that was an interesting way to name something. I just don't know what they're going for with this commercial. I'm very confused.
It is weird, right? It is a weird. I mean, that's understatement of the year, but it's just what I mean by that is I don't understand their goals with the commercial. Like, not just the commercial is weird. I mean, why do this? Like, what is the point here? You're not getting any kind of brand recognition. You're not doing anything. I mean, you just think you're trying to be funny? Like, is that it? Is it just like, hey, we're a brand that's trying to be funny, drink Pepsi? Maybe? I don't know. It was just a weird one for me.
And the Max Taste slogan, I never really thought about it till then, how funny that was, because, I mean, I know what they're saying, but it does also kind of read like, hey, this tastes like Pepsi Max. So,
yes.
Enjoy.
Yes. This tastes like the thing it is. Yeah, amazing. I really love the Christmas movie shout out and takedown. You know, just you said, however, it is better than 3 Home Alones and 2 Die Hards. It's no Christmas with the Cranks, though. But I mean, what is? I thought that was really good. Ian, did you have any thoughts on this one?
Never seen the commercial. Thank goodness it didn't. I don't think it made it over here. If it did, I never saw it, thankfully. But I just love the acknowledgement of throwing a can of pop or whatever soda will explode on you. And it's something that's done in so many movies. And it's like, throw it, catch it, open it. No, you died, or you're at least covered in soda. One of the two.
Mm-hmm. Or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or Pepsi Max jizz.
Yes, as is said in this one.
It'll make you go blind. Yeah.
It is true. It is true. Ian, I'm disappointed. I thought you were going to talk about last week's commercial since.
I know. I did too.
I was so tempted. I was really tempted. But I thought once I do it this week, I've then got to commit, and it's not something I want to keep doing.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's move into TV sins. We had another Star Wars Visions. Danae and Jonathan writing on this one. This was I think the second one, Tatooine Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably my least favorite of all of them. I think this is a terrible episode. I don't understand this one at all. But yeah, what did you think, Danae, as you were kind of going through this?
So this is the first. So I watched the first one because I was the reviewer on it. So I was just like making notes if there were any notes to make. And so of course I watched it. And then I shifted into this one, and I was immediately perplexed on almost every level. Storytelling, visually, just the entire premise of this episode is literally a garage band that wants to play a gig in the setting of Star Wars. And I actually asked a couple people who are really huge Star Wars fans and that were starting to watch the Vision series, well, what do you think of this one? And everyone hated it. So then I felt a little more confident, like, okay, this one, it just lacks storytelling. Animation differences is fine. Sure. I like the idea of every episode being something unique. That's really fun for me, and giving, a chance for animation studios to have some interesting content in a world like Star Wars. I think that's a really great concept. So I don't necessarily, though the animation was kind of like a whatever for me on this one, the storytelling was fucked. It was so strange.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And it's not even like there's like this foreshadowing of story, that they have a relationship, but maybe they've only known each other for like 4 days. Oh, but they've been practicing for a while, but they only have a few songs, but they've never finished those songs. There's just every little thing falls apart, and it sucks when that happens, because you want there to be success for people somewhere deep inside our dark holes, our souls holes. Kind of works still in a weird way.
You want there to be success for people somewhere inside their deep dark holes. Yes,
yes,
that is
the deepest, darkest of them.
And in Ian's, all you'll find is part of an egg.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then also it makes our job so much easier too, because you're like, oh, you dropped the ball, son. So then you can kind of like go at it. So yeah.
I wonder if part of it is the anime thing, and maybe a cultural difference. Maybe we don't like maybe there is an element of storytelling that is just different culturally in something like this, because these are all done by actual anime houses. Like these are not American made. All of these are done by anime houses, like really well respected anime houses.
But is the idea that this one's about like the story? The story seems to be about music. Like the music is important. The music is the main character of this particular episode. But then building the story around how that happened, or the reason that they're together, like they say things like that would make sense for a band that's been together for a long time. They've got that little, oh, this is the first time that we ever played together, and their music sounds the exact fucking same as it does today, and I'm just confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
And are they trying to save their friend, or are they just trying to get a gig? Like, I couldn't even figure out.
Yeah,
Are they using their friend's eventual death to get themselves a leg up? I really couldn't even figure that out.
I know.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
I think they're insinuating that the music saved him in the end. This episode requires you to make a ton of assumptions about what is actually happening. But I also left this episode wondering, so if it's just he's going to be executed, but let us play one song for you. They play one song and the crowd says one more. And the episode ends. So is the assumption to be that when they stop playing, he will still be executed?
Yeah, there's no resolution.
There's nothing. We don't know. Anyway.
Jonathan, what else did you have to say about the process of putting this together and some of the stuff you like?
I mean, Danae, I agree with Danae. It was, it's quite terrible. And we had a good time sending it. I think we had quite a bit of overlap too, because we were pointing out a lot of the same things. I love Danae pointing out though that she called it an uninspired shuffle. That guy's like at the concert.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. I'm just picturing the animator like, we got to have this guy doing something. Okay, how about this? And then I also enjoyed maybe don't say execute you so happily, because like when he's talking about, we're gonna do this last song, it's like before he executes you.
Yep.
So
yeah, I love that one.
Fun.
Ian, what about you?
Yeah, this one did nothing to enhance my enjoyment for Visions. It just made me think this is getting worse and worse. I think they opened up super, super strong. Because I quite like the duel, as ridiculous as some of it is. But this, you nailed it with the style of animation. So I'm basing this on zero research, but I think this is the chibi style, which is very kind of cute characters and it fits. But this story didn't need to be in the Star Wars universe at all. There is so little Star Wars about it. Yeah, it just didn't do much for me. But in terms of sins, people who watch concerts with their arms crossed, now that's me, and here's why: because I'm awkward as fuck, and I have no choice. Because if I was to do anything other than cross my arms, it would be to shuffle, and shuffling is even worse. So I would just quite happily stand at the bar with my arms crossed, possibly with a drink in one awkwardly crossed arm, and just enjoy the music. I don't need to dance. I don't need to be involved with the other people. Just nod in agreement that music is being had and enjoyed. So I didn't need to be so attacked.
Would you touch people's shins as they passed?
Only with my feet. I wouldn't, because my arms are crossed, and I'm not going to break that.
Right.
Take a drink, everybody.
Jonathan has referenced the outtakes. Take a drink. No, I totally agree, Ian. And I just have to break in and say I am very similar. When I was in high school, for a while, I called myself a pocket bopper because I just kept my hands in my pockets and bopped along to the music or whatever.
That's perfect.
Until somebody made me realize pocket bopper could sound like it's referring to something else. And so
what exactly is that referring to, Aaron?
People that keep their hands in their pockets for that long of a time in public bother me. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah. So.
And especially as you get older, but the people at the gigs are younger, and you're still pocket bopping.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Man, I'm not a dancer, but I definitely like I sing along and raise my arm in the air, all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know, man.
I am so self-conscious.
Concerts, I am usually, but at concerts, like bands that I just really like, and everybody around me is doing the same thing, I'm able to get into it somehow.
I cringe at any kind of audience participation, like people clapping at the end of a film. I'm like, I don't care if you enjoyed it. Shut up. Sit down.
I don't clap at the end of a film.
I just love, one of the things I love about doing this show for a live chat is the fact that they add things to the drinking game during the show. They have now added 2 more things. You can now take a drink anytime Aaron and Ian are the same person, which just happened. And you can also take a drink when Aaron has an official name for something.
That's fair.
Earlier, somebody said Jonathan apologized for making a joke.
Well, there you go. There you go. See, so you're all very, very drunk now.
And I'm sorry I just said that.
I don't really have much to add. I feel very much the same way. I already said I think this is the worst episode of the series. And
I thought you were talking about BTS. Like, thanks, man.
The one where I joined.
and you guys mentioned a lot of the fun ones that really made me chuckle. So we can move on to the latest episode of What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart instead of his hands. This was a Dicer Watkins script, so Ian and I writing together on this one. I guess I'll start since I finished the last one, and I want to start here. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Jonathan and I. I said Ian. This is Jonathan and I. I apologize.
You said Watkins and then Ian.
Yeah. Sorry, completely messed that up.
There's an AN in both of our names. I guess.
There's W's around there.
It is true. Yeah, it completely makes sense that I made that mistake. No, it doesn't at all. Anyways, Jonathan and I wrote on this one, and here's where I want to start, Jonathan, with this conversation. Should we have given off sins for this one? Because that seems to be a lot of and we always hate this, right? We always hate it when people are like, you should give sins off for that. It's like, that's not why we're here. But people do seem to think this is the best episode of What If, and I tend to kind of agree. I really think there's some powerful stuff going on here. How do you feel about that?
It might be, but I feel like this happened to Aaron and us on a Rick and Morty episode where it got a little more like saccharine or whatever. I don't know. I just didn't find this as moving, I guess.
Sure.
As a lot of people did. So I mean, I guess in hindsight maybe, but like I'm not upset we didn't or anything.
No.
I totally get, but I did when I read the comments, I was like, oh, people really like felt this one, like, and which is awesome. But I have no heart, so I just had I like Doctor Strange, lost my heart apparently before I wrote on this one. No, sometimes when you're sinning though, you're just so focused on the sinning. I mean, unless something just really moves you. And this just didn't for whatever reason. So
I think if I had it to do over again, and again, I actually like the way it turned out. And there's actually a comment that I like from somebody who was like, basically said, oh, I think there were a couple of people who said this. The ending was so good, they just stopped sending it, before the ending or whatever. That's a fun way to look at it. I like looking at it that way. If I had it to do over again, I might say something about the dark ending and either send it or take a sin off either way, but just at least, because it does. It has a really dark ending that we don't really address. But yeah, it was a fun one to sin. I really enjoy. In general, I'm really enjoying sending these what ifs. I'm having a good time with them. Yeah, Jonathan, what about you? What are some of your other thoughts?
Yeah, but I think I agree with you. I think I haven't seen all the episodes. So you think this is the best one so far? Or you think this is the best one?
I think this is one of the best. I think it's the best one so far for sure of the first however many we've done.
This is the fourth?
I think it's the fourth. It's either the fourth or the fifth. But let me give it just a second. Yeah, I might call it the best one. I might call it the best one of the 9 in season 1. So
it's definitely the best one of the ones that I've worked on or that I've seen. I liked I remember what we ended up going on with scissor doors. I don't remember. That was like a discussion, like what are those called? I think I don't remember what I called. I think I just said having a car open like that or something like that. I don't think I was very specific. And then I just remember we went back and forth and finally we decided on scissor doors. So that was fun. I also
and you didn't ask the guy with the Back to the Future hat. Literally sat behind him who would have happily actually'd you and said it's gull wing doors.
I've never seen your Back to the Future.
But here's the thing. Who cares that it's gull wing doors? We thought we were making something. Are scissors doors an actual thing? Yeah. We thought we were making a joke.
Yeah, there's two different. Yeah. So Lamborghinis and some really fancy cars pivot like that. But the DeLorean and there's a Mercedes that did it first actually have gull wing, which open like that. So it doesn't matter at all.
No, it doesn't. But the problem is, we thought we were making up something and just calling them like something funny.
You accidentally invented a thing.
We accidentally said something that exists. That's
awesome.
the problem.
Yes, which is amazing. That's great.
That's even better. I also enjoyed which I think this one got massaged a little bit too, but because we kind of were like, he doesn't actually lose his heart, like literally, where he does literally use his hand. So we had that sin where it's like, that's not his heart, that's his dead girlfriend in a box.
That was hideous.
To show how we're on the opposite end of what other people are thinking watching this show.
That was so good. That was so dark.
Oh man.
Well, I think Danae might have Danae or Aaron, I think, suggested, because I think I just had coffin, and one of them suggested we do box. I think it works a lot better with box for some reason.
Yeah, that's not your heart. That's your dead girlfriend in a box. Yeah.
Cringe. But
I did also want to bring the one thing that really stood out to me on this one. I did want to bring up the Ancient One appears as he's losing the love of his life over and over again and goes, "What's wrong? Having car trouble?" And it's like, what is going on here?
We need to
so
hire this
insensitive.
person.
And Strange does something like that later when everybody's faces are melting off and he makes a joke or whatever, and then we send it. And I think there's a Bo Burnham reference in there about healing the world with your comedy or whatever. But it's so weird in these Marvel shows sometimes where their humor is just misplaced a little bit sometimes, where it's like, yeah, you can be quippy sometimes, but right now just that changes the character of the Ancient One.
That almost feels like they try to make everybody Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good point. That sort of snarky, unexpected, self-referential humor that really made Iron Man stand out when that movie came out. But they think it's got to be, and it's in every episode of What If so far. There's these strange kind of like beats where they go really hard at humor, which is fine, but also in some moments you're thinking that doesn't make any sense for the what's her name? Ancient?
The Ancient One, yes.
Yeah, for her to be like so insensitive about what's happening. If you're trying to avoid someone turning into this split version of themselves and trying to figure out a way to, like, the most powerful person trying to bring someone back and do all the things they have to do to get powerful enough to bring someone back, change a timeline. Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Just go right over the heart issues and straight to if you're having car trouble, making a fucking joke about it.
Or just be straight up like, what's wrong? Does your girlfriend keep getting murdered? I mean,
by the universe.
Well that.
Your dead girlfriend
Over
in a
and
box?
over.
Danae, what other thoughts did you have about this one?
I don't know. This is for me the first time that I was like, oh, this is more of what I was hoping to see. I think like a really interesting take on what someone's decisions do to change their life, rather than it being, what if this person was wearing this costume instead of this costume, that sort of vibe. And watching this one was a lot of fun for me. I continue to say, and I will say it to the end, I love the animation style. I know I've said it before, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I just think it's really cool to see. It's like an advanced level of animation where it looks so much like a real comic, and I fucking love it. And this one it's just really pretty to look at and watch, in my opinion. So yeah, I liked it. You guys covered everything else though. I also wanted to point out that in the script writing process, I definitely thought that maybe we should cut the calling it your little sorcerer in your muffin basket. I was like, really, guys? But I've come around on that now, and I think it's fun.
I think they work together. If you only had one, I don't think it works.
They have to kind of go back to back. I guess.
Whatever. Ian, what about you?
There's no way that muffin basket and creme brulee weren't put in the script by somebody at Marvel that knew exactly what they were doing and just wanted to slip. What else does muffin basket mean if not that? It just
a basket of muffins.
Thank you,
it does
Jonathan.
not. No, that's nonsense.
Jonathan.
Absolute nonsense.
We have muffin baskets in the South.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's a thing. Like, the idea of a muffin basket doesn't confuse me.
51% of the population has a muffin basket. So,
agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. And they have all the power. I don't know.
I'm sorry that England doesn't know how to basket properly. But here in the South, we basket.
You come over here, I'll show you how to muffin a basket. Wait. So I love that we're still throwing the gauntlet down with how long the opening credits are. So every single episode, we're still going to do it. We just have to find a unique way of doing it. So I like that we're not letting up on that. My favorite scene was where did you come from? Where does he go? Where did you come from, plot and lie, Joe? Because I didn't see it coming. I was like, wait, I know that song. And it plays even better when you put it up to 1.5 speed. So where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from, Platinum Joe? So good. So good.
I read that in the script and was initially like, really? And then immediately was like, no, that's kind of funny.
No, it's excellent. I think it plays so well when you actually hear it. It's so good. And my last comment about the show is just, Doctor Strange's hair is black. Yeah, we're going to get into a hair color conversation here. Why is it red in the show?
I don't know. Why is yours red right now?
Mine isn't, but why is his hair red? It should be black, shouldn't it?
I honestly didn't notice that.
I didn't either.
I never thought about it.
No, it's definitely red. Not this brown.
Maybe it's maybe it's just something a ginger would notice. Like maybe that's
You're saying Benedict Cumberbatch, like in the movies, it's black.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're saying it's red in the show,
in the cartoon. Yeah,
I'll have to
absolutely.
Look up a picture. I didn't notice that, but I'm not sure.
I didn't notice that either.
You're right. It is black though, because it doesn't he have like a little white streak in it or something?
Yeah, because that's the big thing is that he has black hair with the grey streak. But this was 100% red. Red hair with a grey streak. It doesn't matter. It just confused me because they got the likeness pretty correct. I just don't know why they were weird with the hair color.
In some of the pictures I'm looking at, it does look red, but it's usually when the lighting is coming off the red cloak and it's shading like his head. But
do you mean live action?
No. I'm looking at the What If. I'm looking at What If.
The What If. So I noticed it the most when he was in the tux, when he was first picking up the dead lady in a box.
I don't see any of him in the tux.
The lighting and animation causes a lot.
You really got to keep an eye on that. All that natural light.
It's simulated lighting, obviously. But it's emphasized a little bit. But it looks brown in most of these that I'm seeing. So I don't know. It may just be one of those weird things.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
That was all I had to say on that.
Okay, fair enough.
You're so nitpicky. You should get a job.
You should get a job. You nitpick stuff.
If only somebody would pay me to do this.
If only that existed. Let's move on to music video sins. Adele's back with Easy on Me. I would say yay as well. So Barrett writing this one. Jonathan, why don't you start? What are some of your thoughts on this one?
I love Adele. She's had I think both of her last two albums are pretty killer. Maybe three. I can't remember. I'm trying to think because she always does the ages, right? She does like 21 and it doesn't matter.
She has done that, yes.
Yeah. They're really good albums. This song, it's not hitting me like some of her past songs have. Maybe it will. I mean, it's not bad by any means, but I don't know. It just didn't. It's like Adele's back, and then I hear the song, and I'm like, that just didn't really hit me the way that I thought it would. But it's still a very nice song, and I love listening to her voice. So that's always fun. Mm-hmm. And I love that they took a send off just for her, just being Adele and being back and all that kind of stuff. As far as the sins go, I loved the whole thing about sending the hair not being pulled away from her mouth, and then it goes into a whole thing like I hope Tina, the hair and makeup person, will feel good about her choices then.
Yeah.
And I always love when we just knock states. So the New Hampshire, seriously, who the fuck even remembers that's a fucking state? As always,
that felt so harsh.
It's terrible.
Like he meant it.
How did New Hampshire hurt you, Barrett?
And there, I wonder if he actually had something about that specific, because I know like Delaware, we're typically knocking our friend Frank, but I don't know about New Hampshire, but it was very.
It's all those New England states that don't exist.
Yes.
You know what I think it was for me is like this song, and I talk about this with music sometimes. I like it when a song surprises me, like a couple of times. Maybe the key change goes different, or the transitions are a little different, or there's a sound that kind of comes in. There's an element that I didn't quite expect. But there are some songs that are just very paint by the numbers, and this one is lyrically expected and also musically expected. Although I love Adele's voice and I would listen to her pretty much all the time and I could hear her sing anything. This is a hear her sing anything song, even if it has meaning and depth to it, like where it's coming from and the stories behind it, which is really powerful. But when I can guess where the lyrics are going, then I'm not as engaged as I want to be with music just because I've heard so much, and that's not my fault. It doesn't mean it's not great. It's just it wasn't something that I was like, oh my God, this fucking song. I am so into it. I'm into an artist right now who's super R-rated, and I love it. Her name is Remy Wolf. She's batshit. I love it so much because I don't know what to expect. It's like a roller coaster on cocaine, jumping onto a horse that has also done cocaine, just running through the wilderness.
Did you just insinuate a roller coaster jumped onto a horse? Is that what you did? Okay, just making sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's like that.
The horse isn't riding the roller coaster. The roller coaster is riding the horse.
It's a very big horse.
Okay, all right.
Or a very small roller coaster.
But exactly, right. It's all of that. It's amazing, and she's very talented. And yeah, the lyrics sometimes I don't understand because she's probably done drugs while doing these, this music, but it's really unique and different and shifted. And I would listen to that very carefully around specific company. I wouldn't listen to it at all. maybe in earbuds only. But then again, you start to hum the song and maybe you find yourself singing lyrics out loud you really shouldn't be. That to me is exciting. Whereas this one's just like, oh, okay, that is a go-to song that I can listen to. So I understand it, but I did enjoy this. Of course, the Sins video too, specifically the Marge Simpson pearls. Did not see that coming. That was wonderful. I laughed too much at that sin.
Ian, what about you?
Yeah, Adele's a national treasure. You're welcome, America. Thank you for stealing her from us. I really, really, really echo Danae's thoughts. I love listening to Adele, but it's the same old love songs, and that's not to belittle how meaningful experiences in love can be. But if you've heard one love ballad, you've heard the 99,000 others that have also been using the same 3 chords to communicate with us. So yeah, the song itself didn't grab me. There's probably a bit of recency bias there, but Hello hit me immediately. And I was like, yep, this is my favourite song this year. Yeah, it's some of them, they just hit you and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be playing this on repeat for a while. But this one just didn't do it for me. My biggest issue with the music video, and this is exactly what I would have zeroed in on, is just the video itself and the story it's trying to tell. Is like, what's going on here? Because we've got 2 minutes of odd preamble with Adele sounding as regional as she possibly can, just laying on the accent super, super, super thick. Yeah. And then it ends with bloopers. And I was like, what was the story we were trying to tell here? And the sudden transition from black and white to colour. Sometimes you do things just because you can and not because it makes any sense to the video at all.
Or do they do it because they want to be in a movie and this is as close as they're going to get?
Well, we talked about this last week, didn't we? That it's an audition. Is the person making the music video, is this an audition to, look what I can do. I can press the button that transitions us on Premiere from black and white into colour. Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird one. The only thing I'll say about the video itself is that Barrett did a very, very good attempt at an arsehole in terms of the word.
With the R in it? Yeah.
With the arsehole. I need to do a bit of lessons. I need to do him a bit of coaching because it definitely stuck out.
I want that to be the intro, though, to this episode, is just that Barrett did a almost great job at an asshole or something, whatever it was you just said.
And BTS goes back down to 3 members very,
that needs
very
to be the
quickly.
cold open.
I don't know. I think Danae saying something about everybody exploring their deepest, darkest holes probably makes the best intro that I've heard so far. So.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot. We've got a lot of choices. We really do.
Also,
much less likely to get me fired.
Are we just going to have to get used to Ian judging us as we do accents?
Absolutely.
Because it seems
Only
to
if you
happen
keep
a lot.
trying to say our words. Yes.
I think it's
trying
fair.
to say our words. Blah blah blah.
If I lived in another country, I would judge America too.
Absolutely.
The blah 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 in particular is what nailed to the accent.
Yeah. Ian, it's not blar blar blar. It's blah blah blah, not blar blah blah. There you go.
Hey, so what? Just curious though, what did you guys think about Madonna just deciding she was British? Was that okay, or did that piss a lot of people?
Oh, I could not care less. It's kind of just like
that's amazing though. She just started she had a British accent for like 3 years. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen anybody do.
To be fair, if somebody tries to culturally appropriate England, we have no room to critique them or judge them in any way, considering the damage that we've done. So if anybody wants to be English, you're welcome to it. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Power dynamic there is all good. Yep. It's all good.
We're fine. We've done our bit.
You guys mentioned pretty much everything I would say, including the stuff about Adele. I really love her voice, and I could listen to her sing anything, and this is listening to her sing something, and so I enjoy it. But it doesn't strike me yet as anything special like some of the other songs that you guys talked about. I did want to mention the shout out to The Happening. In one of the sins, that was something about running from the microbes that cause terrible movies.
That was so funny.
I found very humorous. I also laughed when the narrator was worried about them in social distancing because of her nails. The nails in extreme gesturing or whatever it was. It's just that made me laugh quite a bit. So yes, that is a fun video, and I'm glad Adele is back. I really do enjoy her voice quite a bit. Let's move into Rocky Horror Picture Show. This was a Dicer Whittington script. Ian and I writing on this one.
I am so excited for this conversation because
Me too.
I loved the moment in the so we have Slack and we have channels for every one of our scripts so that the writers can talk, amongst themselves, and it's not like on our main channels, our main like communication feeds. And I create all of them, which means I get to see all the conversations like a peeper. And the moment that Ian was like, I didn't know what this was.
Yeah, I think his response was the very classic, what did I just watch?
What did I just see?
Yeah, literally. What have you just put into my eyes? Because I've managed to make it to 31 and I've never seen this. And as much as I knew the context, I was not prepared. I did not understand the assignment.
It's also a weird movie to watch for the first time, just like by yourself at home. Like it's a
by yourself at home. Yeah,
you're in the dark. Like it was like midnight.
Kind of
it was late at night. I was tired, and I thought I need to watch this tonight so I can get a good run at it tomorrow. So it was not the correct environment to watch this.
I will tell you, your video. I have such a long relationship with this movie, and your video got me so just feeling nostalgic. I when I left to pick up my daughter from school and stuff, I listened to the soundtrack for the first time in probably like 10 years, and I was like scream singing, and it was
nice.
It was so much fun. No, I love this property. The movie's not perfect or anything, but I love the music, and if you ever get a chance to see it like a theatrical, it's a lot of fun. But I get it. I 100% get the what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Because I still don't know what it is. And I've seen it many times.
Well, Ian, we can start with you then, since you had that experience. Danae, did you have any other thoughts or things you wanted to say about that moment because I know for you, this is something that has been in your life. So I didn't know if you were going somewhere specific with that, but... Yeah. Not
specifically. I think that this is one of those movies that you likely don't forget the first time you saw it and where and with whom, because it is such a
you never forget your first time. Yeah, it is that movie.
You never forget your first Rocky Horror. And for me, my aunt introduced this to me when I was probably 13, 14, something like that. Wow. Which is great because then I got to see some really incredibly diverse
that's mind-altering stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I always appreciate that about my aunt. She did those things knowing that my mom and dad likely would never approve, or that the family could very well disown me as they, she was on she's like, if I don't expand this child's mind, she's going to turn into the quote unquote perfect version of what everyone else wants. And I always like, looking back and seeing these personalities and these people who kind of opened doors to show me different things or talk to me about different things. And when it comes to media, watching something, Rocky Horror was one of those standout moments in my life where I saw men in women's clothing and I saw men in makeup, and I strange music and nakedness and bold, like there's just this boldness. It's in your face boldness. It's unapologetic. And there's something beautiful about unapologetic people like this, where they're not presenting themselves like, oh, we're afraid and we're sorry for representing something different, or for asking you to consider what it would mean for two men to kiss. Sorry about that. It's just like in your fucking face. And at the time, I didn't realize how important it is because I didn't understand, the representation in media being really important. And then I also, over the years, really loved the cult following, the people getting together in live theater and doing all the live theater stuff that they do with this movie, which my aunt would tell me about because she loves this movie. So yeah, I was taken back to all the good shit that I've experienced because of this. And I was like, and here's Ian at home.
Poor little innocent-eyed Ian.
On my own.
No one to watch with, no one to turn and be like, what the fuck is this? Or like laugh or, get curious. Like there's none of that. It's just, he's singing it. And I had a really good chuckle about it because it really made me laugh.
Maybe that's a good age. I think I was 13 or 14 when I first got exposed to it. I was taken to, we had a theater in the town right by me, Franklin. They showed it every weekend for as long as I can remember. They showed it every weekend. And I got taken to it when I was about 13 or 14. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of got a little, not obsessed with it, but I love the music so much. I immediately got the soundtrack. And,
it's great.
Yeah.
It's so fucking kooky great. I loved it so much.
Tim Curry, I don't know if it's the greatest performance ever, but it is it's insanely good.
Well, I'm excited.
It's 100% committed.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your thoughts, Ian. So take us through.
Yeah, I obviously was aware of the film. It's one of these films that I'm really glad came up as the first time I watch this is when I'm going to be sending it, because that's just a really special experience when it's a film like this, because even when you're trying to watch it without taking notes and just to experience it, you've still got an analytical pair of eyes going through the film. And I was just like, I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do with this. And that first hour is just insane. It definitely goes to a different place in the second half. But that first hour, I really happily watched it again, because the songs in that first half and what it does is just, it's so shocking and it's so good. And just the random criminologist narrator that decides to give us dance instructions. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to tell us a story, or are you giving us dance instructions? It's just a step to the left. I was like, what are you doing? What is this? But it's so good. And I had to keep checking the date of when it came out. It was in the 70s. How did Richard O'Brien and Tim Curry and everybody do this, make a film out of it, and it's become what it is now? It's so impressive. It's so good. It should be required watching. Not on how to make a film, just culturally how important this film is. It is so good.
Yeah.
In terms of the script itself, this is the shortest script I've ever written, and there was definitely some self-consciousness about that, because my scripts tend to be quite heavy. So I sent it off to Aaron, and I was like, I'm really sorry, is this long enough? And the response was just like, you know what, it's just one of those films, don't worry.
It happens sometimes, right? Where there's movies that there are just long stretches of things you just, there's no sins. You can. And you can like make jokes, like you can put some jokes in there, but you don't want to force anything. No. And so there's just, and doing a musical is hard. Sending a musical is not easy. I just sent another musical that's coming up, and it's not. I think we came up with about the same number. I don't think I had too many more than you.
Pretty much by the end.
It's not easy just from a practical standpoint, but then also like just from trying to do a sin, it's not. But then also we have to, there's copyright issues and stuff like that. That we,
right, a lot of times
it makes the lead difficult.
Yeah, you have to say the music lyrics in your sin, which changes the feeling of a lot of these things. So yeah.
As much as you want to stick Time Warp in there, you just can't get away with it. But it's why I was really grateful to have a second writer that or just in general that we have multiple writers on a script, because it doubles up on everything. With the sins, what if Doctor Who but it fucks just killed me, because it's perfect.
It's so good.
It's exact. That's right.
Thanks.
That should be the subtitle. If you're going to rename the film, it's What If Doctor Who but it fucks. In so many ways, even the production quality is 70s Doctor Who.
That's so amazing.
I want that to be a movie
myself.
now.
Yeah. What
that should be
Doctor
like,
Who?
That should be Aaron's biography or something.
Right. It's going on my gravestone, guys.
The life of Aaron Dyson. What if Doctor Who but it fucks?
So like the front of the t-shirt is like a little CinemaSins, just the M logo. On the back it's the lips, and instead of it saying Rocky Horror, it just says What If Doctor Who but it fucks on the back.
That's amazing. Let's do it. I want that on a shirt right now.
Nice.
So good. I liked the sin and then sin removal being the same sin. That was exquisite, but I'm going to let Aaron or someone else talk about that, because that was beautiful.
I can't remember if we've ever done that before, but it just made sense to me knowledge. Because this is a movie where the same thing you could say is why it's bad is the same reason it's good.
Absolutely.
And so there are just those moments where it's like, what in the world is happening here? What am I watching? Here's your sin. And then immediately to say, what in the world is going on here? What am I watching? Take your sin off. It made sense to me. It just made sense to me that they could be exactly the same. So,
because it's one of those movies. Like, that's why I've always said I don't know how to describe my love for it, because I mean, the structure Nazi in me, and just wanting the story and stuff like that. I mean, that's not what this is. I mean, this is something
spontaneous meatloaf. There's just spontaneous that doesn't need to be in the film. That has nothing to do with anything at all.
But it
What?
also
Sure
has to be
does.
in the film.
It has to be.
It has to be. No, it has to be in there. But it's just like, hey, Meatloaf's here. Let's give him a part. Okay. The last bit I'll say is I have two friends that are massive Drag Race fans. And
you're friends with my wife and daughter? That's weird.
It's odd that you find out this way. They're not the only fans in the world, obviously, but I have a group chat with them, and Albert and Sean, thank you, because I wasn't in a position I wanted to put in some Drag Race references because it felt right, and it felt like this is the video to do it in.
Totally agree.
And I wanted to do it in a way that 100% was not mocking anything at all, but still, just some of the names that they have are fantastic. They are so clever and alliterative, and just I wanted to kind of acknowledge that. So I used some of the more ridiculous ones. So Bimini Bomb Boulash made it in, and Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. I just thought yep, that's my name. That's the name that I'm going with. But I wanted to share a couple of the runners-up that didn't make it. I can't even pronounce them.
Sounds like a little bit of keeping tabs in the SinSide Scoop. I love it. Go for it.
Just a little bit, because I had
go
too many
for it.
keeping tabs. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, too many. Oh no.
Now that you've acknowledged it, it's fine. I can do it. So we've got a bit of Laganja Estranja. But Bob the Drag Queen is one of my favourites. That was great.
I love that. Yeah.
Lawrence, no, hang on, can't do that. Ms. Cracker was good. Ahura, because Star Trek. It's nice. I like that. Brita Filter. Do you have Brita Filter over?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Brita
brand.
sells filters,
And what else have we got? Karen from Finance. That was my runner-up. That doesn't quite work in a sin.
Right, yeah.
Because
It worked
could
for
just be Karen
a
from
great
Finance.
drag queen name, but yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed writing on this.
Me
and I hope
too.
we did it justice.
I found it really interesting when you and I were assigned to this. You who've never seen it, and me who
Yes.
like it's not like a huge part of my background. I didn't see it at 14, and it didn't change my life then. I think I saw it in my 20s at some point, and was kind of aware of all the things I'm aware of now, which are the things that make it interesting and transgressive and powerful and important, and at the same time terrible. There's this movie could be, you could say, ignoring some of the technical aspects, but you could say the first 45 minutes of this movie is a good movie. There's great music, great performance by Tim Curry, amazing stuff. And then speaking of drag, the second half of this movie just slows, puts on the brakes. I shouldn't say none, because people love everything about this movie. Sure. But if you're looking at it from like an outside perspective of somebody who's not there, it's not on, they don't have the poster on the wall, they don't attend the showings, that kind of thing. The second half of this movie is just so slow. Like, there's not a lot of the greatest songs in there. There's such weird stuff going on. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at it like that and to kind of figure out how to talk about that at the same time as respecting, just everything that this movie is to so many people. And I think, at the end of the day, I think we did okay. And I think, we put together a script that honors that, and then also does what we're supposed to do and makes fun of it and nitpicks it and does all that kind of fun stuff too.
And the comments were super positive. There was I think the only one nitpick was that we were questioning why Tim Curry was so good, and everyone told us about the stage.
Right,
I was like, well, I knew about that,
been
but
in the show, yeah,
but it didn't feel necessary to say it.
No, and it
doesn't
doesn't surprise me that the comments are so supportive. This is exactly the kind of property that people get it. Because this is what almost they're doing at the shows, right? They are kind of nitpicking with singing along to the lines and making fun of the way the cuts happen and certain lines that people say, and so yeah, it totally makes sense that fans would love this.
I know we're going to move on quickly, but I just want to point out. So I was thinking about how you guys were talking about the second half's like slowing down, and I was thinking about the live, like watching this live where you're in a theater with other people, the movie is playing on, and then there's all these different props that you bring. I don't know if you guys know this, like when someone says there's a toast, everyone has actually brought bread or toast with them, and they take it out of their pocket and chuck it up on stage.
Chuck it up on stage, yeah.
Why?
Because it's fun and it's
what you do, Ian.
Or when it says it's going to rain, people actually bring out their umbrellas and they put their umbrellas up in the
That's
theater.
amazing. I want to be there for that.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about like, so the movie might slow down, but I bet the live interaction, it really amps up because there's all these jokes and all these, things. So I just really quickly went to go see if there was an example. I already knew about the toast and the umbrella. I was just going to brush up. It's been a while since I've thought about it. And I came across on Wikipedia, shout out to Wikipedia. I get to do that because I actually support them. God, because I'm so
Me too.
I'm such a great person. Anyway, I went to the Rocky Horror Show, which was a musical. And it looks like this was I wonder if this is actually like a musical. Like, did they do this? Or I was confused. I wonder if you guys did research. My question is, did you guys do research? Was this actually something that was in theaters?
Yes.
And then it went
correct.
to...
Yeah,
Okay.
Richard O'Brien wrote it, right? Is that right,
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah, so he
Okay.
wrote it, put the whole thing together, and it was on stage for about 2 years, and then somehow became a movie. It was
So
insane.
it actually kind of did both. It existed. It was a musical turned movie turned back into a live interaction musical because people do get on stage and actually perform while the movie plays in the background. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
I just think it's really
I have
cool.
no idea how the theatrical thing started, but that's because no other movie, I don't think, has that. At least not of that level of interaction.
I don't know.
I mean, I know The Room was a big midnight show for a long time, in LA and stuff, but
But do
I
they
don't know.
have where people go up on the stage?
No, I don't think
and-
so.
and-
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's pure
and reenact
chaos.
those.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
And
It's so
people
good.
like people that live in your area by theaters that do this. Like, oh, this guy plays Rocky on Fridays. This guy,
That's
seriously,
amazing.
Yeah.
like I don't even know how you get to where you get to be in it, but it's just like people you go to college with and stuff. Like that guy's Rocky on Saturday nights at the theater.
So
What, you mean Karen from Finance? That's
Yeah, Karen for finance, man. She's magenta.
I'm just really loving it because on this Wikipedia, it's actually showing where it's the Rocky Horror Show is still kind of doing its thing in live performances. And through different eras of time, the 2000s and the 90s and the 70s even. So anyways,
When they put
I
up
just
their
wanted to shout out to that.
when they put up their umbrellas, do they also put up wet newspapers that somehow withstand
Yes, I think
oodles
so.
and oodles of rain?
I think so.
the true crime of this film is the newspaper usage.
I did love that I was able to give the narrator an out of wedlock son named Franklin Gazette. That made me very, very happy.
Okay, I just found a RockyHorror.com participation prop list sheet. So yes, the newspaper. When Brad and Janet are caught in the storm, Janet covers her head with newspaper. The plane dealer. At this point, you should likewise cover your head. So
Nice.
and they've got all these prompts of all these different things to do. I'll just scroll down real quickly. Hot dogs and prunes. It has happened on occasion that fans will throw hot dogs and prunes at their appropriate mention in the film. This should not be encouraged because it attracts rodents and leaves stains on the screen.
Thanks, Mom.
I didn't read
Thanks.
that ahead of time. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. No, that is amazing.
Oh fuck, that's funny as shit. That's some good shit right there.
I just want to mention real quick, I love that you guys did a Und I Did. I was very happy about
That's
that.
great.
Great.
that was
Und
good.
I did.
Yeah.
So good.
There's so much. I mean, there's so much that's like the idea that the editor is somewhere, saying, "Look at me editing," just this
Yeah.
show just has like all
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I feel like I could talk about this movie and this Sins video for ever. It was a lot of fun to put
Yeah,
together.
we could do a whole pod on this one, definitely.
But let's not. Let's go on to Quiet Place Part 2. This was a Dicer Scott script. Myself and Jeremy writing on this one. So I'll kick us off. I will just say the thing I noticed most about this movie the second time through it is how terrible that kid is. And I don't mean acting. I'm not talking about acting. I'm talking about character choices. The choices they have that child make. I think the sin in the video is this child is such a disappointment. And there were several sins about the decisions. But that section where he just goes on a curiosity hike when his mom is away in this world is just, it's mind blowing. Now look, kids do stupid stuff. Like I get that, but like when you're doing a movie and you have characters, you don't make your characters that dumb. It's distracting. It's terrible, especially a protagonist type character that you're wanting to kind of center the movie around. So that really stood out to me. The other things I wanted to mention, by the way, I really do enjoy the Quiet Place movies. I like the second one pretty much as the first one. I kind of like them about the same. I think they're a lot of fun to watch, and it's an interesting world to think about. I did also want to mention the pug, giving the narrator a pug for a couple sins.
You caused some absolute chaos.
I know.
On multiple social media platforms.
I know. And so and everybody loves this pug that doesn't exist. Like everybody
It's so
wants it
good.
to be real.
How did that happen? People just like pugs?
Yeah, that is when I was writing it. That is literally what I thought. What is the animal, the pet that
the
people will most be
controversial-
like,
Pugs.
Pugs are cute.
Also, pugs are not fucking cute.
Well, that's the point. That's
I
why people
disagree.
love them. That is why people love them, because they are not
But-
typically
Because they're the underdog of
yeah.
But
dogs.
they're also broken, like biologically broken. We
That's
should
what
not
I'm
be
saying.
encouraging
Don't- stop-
the sale
stop
and
buying
adoption
pugs.
of pugs. Yeah, stop
Yeah.
it.
Well,
They're a
I don't know
broken
anything
animal.
about this.
Yeah, I hadn't heard.
They have massive
my God.
breathing problems. They suffer their entire lives.
Aw.
Basically,
Well,
they're
now I
so
feel
inbred
terrible.
and they're so well. That's why I thought you were saying like I chose a really controversial dog because
No,
it
I've
is-
never heard this.
I didn't
before
heard that.
in my
I didn't
life.
see it in the comments
Yeah,
either.
no, so they've been bred to look a certain way, and it causes massive breathing
Oh, that's
problems. And
terrible.
Oh,
whenever
that's
they run
awful.
around,
Well,
they
thank you
just
for
Along-
educating me on that. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
educating
you.
me.
Along with brachycephaly, the breed commonly suffers from spinal malformations, ear infections, heart
No idea.
defects, and as cute as they may be, bringing a breed almost guarantees to have health issues. But this particular one, yeah, they've kind of they've shortened their face so much
Yeah.
that they really have genuinely have health issues.
Oh, that's
That's
terrible.
why
That's
they
terrible. I
always
feel
are.
bad. Well, let's move on. Let's move on from that. I wish I would have known that. I would have picked something different, actually. But I do appreciate the education. I did think it was. I do know so many people who think they're adorable, and so
They are.
that is why.
They're not adorable. Why does anyone think pugs are adorable?
I don't know. I always have.
They look like little.
Well, I think
They look like little furry brain faces.
I think they're even more
That's
adorable now
adorable.
that they struggle their entire lives.
Yeah, but we shouldn't want them to exist. We
Okay,
No, we
just
should not.
real,
We
just
should
a
not.
real quick question. Do you guys have a breed that you think is the most adorable breed? Pug is on. That's fine. You can think it's adorable. For me, when I think about the most adorable breed or puppy, because when they're puppies, they're really really
yeah,
cute, and
the
then they get
adorability is through the roof.
But the most adorable puppy I've ever seen is a Saint Bernard puppy.
That's
They're
that's my
so
answer too.
fucking
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then they turn into horses.
cute. Right.
They're still beautiful though.
No, they're still great, but they then dominate your entire
But
existence.
when they're that puppy size, they have
Oh,
the
they're
most
amazing.
perfect little puppy head, and their proportions are just amazing. And,
And if you get a half mask, that's always really cute. It's beautiful.
do you guys have a favorite puppy?
I'm partial to Black Labs. I just think they are the
Yeah.
doggiest
Another
dog
one.
ever to dog. I just think the puppy Black Labs are so fun and playful and cute and and part of that's bias. We had a Black Lab for a long time that we really really loved, and
I had Saint Bernards, so,
yeah.
I get it.
I love. I think they're called Shibu Inus, and they look like foxes. They are just little baby foxes, and
Yeah.
they are adorable.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. Anyhow, that was very educational. I appreciate that, guys. I wanted to mention that, and then I think, of course, we have to mention the waste of Jimon Hinsu in this movie. And it's
What
not
a
just
crime.
that. It's not just that they wasted him. The way he goes out is so lame and dumb, and it's just why is he in this movie if you're just
Yeah,
going to
why
treat him
cast
like
him?
that? It's just one of those weird things. Something must have changed in the shooting or something. I'm not sure what happened
Yeah, he's
there.
better than that in every way.
And then the hearing impairment sin that Jeremy wrote about his own disability was really great. And I think we've got a comment there now on the video about, because people were asking, wait, is he really deaf? And the answer is yes, he's extremely hearing impaired. In fact, he just had a test recently that it's, I think this is in the comment, that it's gotten worse. So it's something very close to his heart. and really appreciated all the comments just being like, supportive and, YouTube comments can actually be positive sometimes. And I appreciated that from the people. So thank you for that. What about you guys? What did you think about this? Jonathan, why don't you kick us off?
I'm with you. I like this at least almost as much as the first one, maybe as much. I don't know. I was really impressed with the fact that there actually is some interesting world building going on here. And from what I understand, the next one's going to take place with entirely different characters. I'm really curious, what that's going to be like. I also agree with you. This kid just gets on my last nerve. Like every
character, man,
every decision he makes. I mean, I will say, you guys send the fact that he screams. I mean, he did get hit with a bear trap. I mean, that might elicit a scream.
Or a yelp at least. But
yeah. But I like the way the actor played that though, because at first there's like nothing, but you see it coming, and then he just lets it out. He plays it perfectly. He's actually a pretty good actor. But yeah, no, the kid itself. I just loved the wording of the sin with the way the bleachers were at the Little League game and all the asses were sticking out. And then it ends with, not that you have terrible asses, but I'm here to see the balls.
That lined up so well. That's so good.
She has a special manger just for drowning. I don't know. That struck me as...
Oh, so dark. I loved it.
Oh, and then the biggest sin of this movie, I remember Chris and I talked about this on the... Because I couldn't remember who wrote this when I watched it, but I remember Chris and I talked about this when we did the mini-pod. But the biggest sin of the movie is the fact that the message is a song that you have to decode meaning from. But why wouldn't they just say we're at this island, come on. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
How about this?
And so I love that you guys send that.
Hey, these aliens don't seem to be able to swim.
Yeah, something.
Like, give the people something to work with.
Watch signs.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mercy.
But yeah, no, I love the video. It was great.
Ian?
Yeah, everything's pretty much been covered. I'll always pick out the alliteration. So there's cross-cutting between Marcus's meaningless moronic meandering, Mom's medicine mining, and Millicent and Murphy's methodical mulling of motorboat marine and moorings goes on for some time. Was amazing, and I loved it. That was one of those, we do a lot of alliteration, but that went on 25% longer than I expected.
I think that could just be called a dicer at this point, right?
It's a dicerism. That's a dicer. 100% pulling a dicer, which is quite easy to do. Pulling a dicer.
Yes.
Special Manger was great, and just the string of sins acknowledging the deaf representation. This was perfect for Jeremy to write on, and it was really, really, really good.
Yeah,
it's nice when we can do something meaningful like that.
Danae?
I've never seen any of this. I don't know what the fuck is going on, except for you're supposed to be quiet and also walk on really uncomfortable things rather than grass. So that's all I know.
Yes. You got it. That's the whole franchise.
That's the whole franchise right there. Well done.
I think the idea that I think would be interesting if I was a moviegoer is the idea of a movie being really quiet, like just the soundtrack itself. It changes the experience. It does. I think of probably the movie going where you're really just taking everything into almost like an immersive world, because to me it seems like if I was going to go to a movie that was sounding more like my life, there'd be a lot of silence, there'd be a lot of quiet. I don't always have a soundtrack going on. There's not always something really interesting happening. There's no dialogue happening. It's just life. And so maybe you would get really relaxed in a way and you're just watching it, but the intensity is built up because you've just got this constant tension of like, is there going to be sound? And I think that would be a really interesting experience for a lot of people. And I can see maybe why people would go back into that world multiple times, but I have no idea what the fuck is going on, except for that you don't want to be heard. And I thought that the sins were really, really wonderfully pointed out.
Nice.
So.
All right, let's move into keeping tabs.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Ha ha! Oh, jeez.
This is the most public yet of my many humiliations.
We're going to tell some stories from putting together the content. What do we got, Danae? We got keeping tab for us today?
Nope.
Okay.
Mostly because I accidentally deleted my notes.
Oh, no.
Yay.
Well, the good news is Ian has already claimed to have too many.
I know.
So...
I do
give
remember
Danae one, Ian. Tell her one.
Yeah, give me one.
Just whisper it to her.
Okay, Charles Atlas. Go on, take it away.
So I really couldn't figure out, how to work Charles Atlas into my Star Wars script. That was going to be the trickiest.
In no way.
Part. No, this is mine. You gave it to me. Shut up. It's my turn. It's my turn. Because there really isn't a lot of bodybuilding, in that episode, but there are some beefcakes in the background. So I thought maybe I'd try to just kind of slip that in there, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I spent way too much time looking at bodybuilding pictures, which,
as one does,
by the way,
for research.
The body is really incredible. And when you decide that you're going to amplify one muscle or a muscle group over the others, this is really amazing. Some people's pecs are larger than my thigh. If I look down at my thigh and I think this is someone's pectoral muscle, I immediately question so many things about.
Do you remember when on the radio show you measured your waist and I measured my thigh and they were the same? Do you remember?
Yes,
I do.
That?
Yeah.
And that is what I'm talking about. This is when you begin to realize your place in the world. And so during my keeping tabs research of bodybuilding and this Atlas person that I completely knew about before 12 seconds ago, that's how I realized, my place in the world. I am someone's pectoral muscle.
That actually worked out really well because I think you really did talk about some research you did during Star Wars. So I think that worked out really, really well. Yes, I know what it's like to look at bodybuilding pictures. I believe I have used the pun "I'm becoming bisexual" before in a script.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Perfect.
So. Ian, what about you?
There's really nothing I can add to that, to be completely honest. So in Rocky Horror, there's a big song about working out and stuff, and Charles Atlas's seal of approval. And I was like, there's no way Richard O'Brien just made that up. So of course I had to Google it and go somewhere. And yeah, Charles Atlas was I don't know if this is common knowledge or not, but it was something I had no idea about. But yeah, he was pretty much the first bodybuilder as we know them in the kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger get oiled up sense. There had been strong men before, but this guy found a way to make money from it. And yeah, in 1922, that's when he started doing it. And his big shtick was that you can go from 90 pounds to a beefcake if you follow these easy steps and this program of dynamic tension. Turned it into a company in 1927, and it is still going today. Which was just this entire string of this entire man's life that is just so bizarre, and from a period of time where we don't associate bodybuilding and the stuff, everything that we're going through today minus technology has already happened and it will happen again. So yeah, it wasn't all kind of bow ties and bowler hats. It was this dude pumping iron in the 20s.
Yeah, amazing.
Crazy.
Jonathan, what about you?
So there was a bit in Star Wars Visions where I don't remember what the specific line was the guy said, but we made the joke like, why wouldn't you do a one-liner that fit more with what was going on? Like instead of saying rock 'em, why wouldn't you say like, punch him or whatever?
Yeah, right.
So, but I was trying to figure out what I was going to use there, and so I was just Googling fighting one-liners, and I found some that I thought were funny.
Hit me.
So I found like this list of like the top 40 like one-liners or whatever.
This is such a me keeping tabs. I love this so much. I'm so excited for this list. You have no idea.
But the ones I wrote down was, I have to warn you, if you're Jewish, my fist is not kosher. I liked that one.
Okay.
Let me introduce you to my friends, Mr. Fisty and his wife Elaine. I don't even know what that means. Might as well stop breathing. You're not going to be doing that anymore.
The confidence with that one.
I know. I didn't fight my way to the top of the food chain to be a vegetarian. I love the simplicity of I love dancing, and then you have to pause for a beat, and then you say on your grave.
That's really important. Yeah, you have to pause.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was just, I don't know. That was
so
fun.
good.
That's amazing. As promised, I'm going to talk about the outtakes for Rocky Horror, which altogether were some of my favorite outtakes that we've done. Starting off with Bob the Tomato singing "I Love My Lips" with the lips from Rocky Horror, all the way to the name exclaims which I wanted to talk about specifically because it's my favorite thing when we kind of collaborate on something like that. And it was one of those things where I knew the idea. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, how funny would it be to take other movie moments where people are just yelling names and put it in there. And my level of being able to know and grab that stuff is so far below like everybody else on the team that I know I need to go to them. And so I go to our Slack and I'm just like, hey, here's the idea. What do you think? And then it was just like, boom, 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 boom. And people were like, you know,
there's now
throwing
too
them
many
in there. And yeah, we ended up with too many. In fact, some of the in the comments, people were saying like, oh, what about Donkey? Donkey should have been in there. And what these were suggested. It was just like, I didn't want it to go on for, 5 minutes. So
yeah,
I think it could have done.
But we
it could have gone on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it could have in hindsight. But
we could still do something like that. I think that like a little side project like that would be kind of fun. You go back to the comment section and or we tweet about it and say, hey, we're gonna do a run. Send us your name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you are, and then you just take all of the compilations and.
It's a repeater. The longer it goes on, you get waves of it being funny again and again and again.
I love that there's also a cleverness to some of it as well. Whereas like the first one is Dr. Marvin instead of Dr. Scott. Like that's really fun to me. The idea that after Rocky, you have Rocky actually saying Adrian. Perfect. Like there's that kind of stuff too that I really enjoy. And then when it was finally done and posted, I think a lot of people's favorite in our Slack was the Tom Ripley one because it's just like he's so happy to be there. Hey, I'm Tom Ripley.
Hey, I'm here.
It's just so fun. But I think the ones that fit the best for this whole thing, I think Kevin from Home Alone feels like it belongs there. And there was one other one I really just felt like, oh, it just feels like that belonged in those outtakes.
Stella.
Stella's a good one too. But I think the Kevin one was probably the one that felt like it could have been in the movie. Kevin. So good. But a lot of fun. Ian, did you have any other of the outtakes or things to say about putting the outtakes together for this one since I brought it up, or any other keeping tabs? Because you mentioned you had a bunch. So
no, I may have overpromised there because my second one was all of the drag race names. So I managed to spoon it into an earlier segment.
Nicely done. All right, let's move in to the comment section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're going to take a look at a comment from this week's material, or just from you, from any of the places that you can comment to us, whether it be Discord or Twitter or any of those places, and in the videos themselves. Ian, why don't you go first? What's your comment section for this week?
Well, I wasn't kidding when I would open up a social media and it would very quickly be Jeremy explaining he doesn't have a bug and then go somewhere else. I was like, oh, it's this again. So good. I just love that for 10 minutes you really inconvenienced him. But I need to respond to some factual... a factual thing that I said wrong last week and was happily corrected.
Listen, this is my new favorite part of the comment section. This is the are the comments right or wrong section. Ian, were the comments right or wrong?
Well, this was correct. This one I will take the blame for. Lollipop corrected something I said wrong in last week's episode, which was that Big Ben does not refer to the clock face, it is to the bell. And I knew that. Just on the spot, I had to pull it from somewhere and I committed to the wrong appendage of said clock tower. I apologise.
You pulled out the wrong egg.
I pulled out the wrong egg from wherever it was seated, so I will hand back in my passport license and crumpets that make me the Englishman that I am. So apologies.
Nice.
I was wrong, but nice. Hawkeye still should not have been able to kill Thor.
I'll go next because mine is kind of were the comments right or wrong, and in this case, I think the comments are wrong. This was from somebody named John who said, TV Sins doesn't understand the concept of fridging. Fridging is when you kill off a character for momentary shock that the protagonist soon moves on from. Her death is the entire plot. That's wrong.
Yeah, I stand by that comment. Thank you.
That comment is actually the opposite of what fridging is. The idea of fridging is that you kill off a woman character who is important to the male protagonist, and that is what drives them for their journey, for their entire journey. Fridging is the practice of killing off or hurting a minor character in order to motivate or torture the main character. And I don't know if there's any better way to explain what this does to Doctor Strange than motivate and torture. That is exactly what it does to him. The reason this is important to talk about is just because of how women are used in stories and have been used through the years in stories and how that's changing. It doesn't mean those kind of stories don't exist. It doesn't mean those kind of stories can't be told well. It just means because there have been so many of them where the women seem to exist to motivate the men's plot, that it's something worth paying attention to and listening to. And the point of that sin, by the way, was just that it wasn't an improvement for that character from the movie, who many people have said was treated pretty poorly in that movie as far as being used. So,
yeah, what's better? Let's kill her.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. so yeah, I wanted to kind of defend that one a little bit. Danae, why don't you go next?
I went to Rocky Horror for some feedback because there's just, of course, the comments are going to be really juicy on that one. And Emily says, explaining Rocky Horror to my roommate who's never heard of it was not insignificantly helped by this video, which I liked.
Nice.
There are 18 responses below this, and I really, really enjoyed I enjoyed all of them because they're having a great time. John replies, a reason to get stoned and toast at midnight works for my friends. I like simple friends. Joe says, now try explaining why we all used to make it a special point to see it at a midnight show every weekend twice. Then try further explaining how we were so into it that we've watched it over 500 times, literally, at the theaters.
Oh, that's amazing. What a flex.
Yep. Pirate for Hire 314 goes on to a very long explanation, like actually trying to give an explanation of the movie, which is delightful to read. And then Lynn adds, yes, explaining the draw of the audience participation has always been the trickiest yet most crucial part for me. You throw toast? What? Everyone shouts during the movie and this is fun? Why? So just people finding each other in the chat. It's one of the things I like about when we do like a Critical Role reference, or we do something that's just a reference like on an outtake or a sin, and people find each other in the comments and start to talk to each other. That's delightful. But when it's an entire movie experience and they're finding each other in there, it's great.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I really enjoyed the comment section of Rocky Horror.
It is fun. It's just of course it is. Of course it's going to be a fun comment section because that's the whole point. Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, so mine was from What If. Also, it's actually a comment from Oversoul Gaming on YouTube, who I know is sometimes in the live feed. I don't know that I've seen them today, but they said, this is the most depressing episode in the entire show, and somehow you still managed to make it hilarious. Thank you. So I just thought that was really nice.
I nearly pulled that one out as well.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Very kind. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But you didn't, did you, Ian? You had to talk about
because I'm a
Big Ben.
jerk. I had to talk about myself because that's what I do best.
All right, let's move into Beyond the Sins.
To infinity and beyond.
Somewhere beyond my wild history.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
We're each going to chat about something else from the world of pop culture that we've seen recently. I will kick us off. The movie that I saw this weekend was Last Night in Soho, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it. Edgar Wright has been one of my favorite directors, and notice that's in the past tense. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate Edgar Wright now. I don't hate him now. But this is a very different kind of movie for him. He has really stripped back his humor. It's not a humorless movie, but it is very light on humor. It is very much about the mystery, the themes, those kind of things, which that's fine. And it's very, very much about the visuals, which are the best part of this movie. He is working on a visual level here that is hinted at in Baby Driver and his other movies, but is just kind of next level, as far as I'm concerned, in Last Night in Soho. I did not connect to the main protagonist. I don't know that I could put my finger on it yet as to why. but that had a fairly decent impact on my ability to remain connected to the story. So while I enjoyed the pretty visuals and the mystery was okay, if not maybe a bit predictable for me, I didn't have like a great experience. So kind of a middle of a road kind of feeling about this one, which I will expound more on Sif Pop, the podcast I do for movie reviews. But just wanted to let everybody here know that, yeah, kind of a middle of the road. Lots of great things about it, but also some things that I didn't quite work for me. So I'm going to keep thinking about it.
It's pretty high on my list of films to see next. It's Edgar Wright. A few trailers. It's Edgar Wright. I've got so much goodwill for him.
Yeah.
I really love seeing Matt Smith do stuff as well. So there wasn't much about this film I'm not looking forward to, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. Nice. But we'll see.
Ian, what about you?
I've been catching up on something that I have very guiltily not seen yet, even though it's been out for years, and it's the Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
This is a heavy recommend with a even heavier but. And the but is a huge but of triggers. If you name a trigger warning or something that you react badly to or don't like seeing, it will be in this show. It has it's more extreme than Game of Thrones, but the storytelling is so good. Cillian Murphy is incredible. He's such a good actor. I connect with every single character, even though they're living a life that I can't relate to and I can't understand. The storytelling isn't overly complicated. There's like a few different layers that interweave, but it's never like Game of Thrones where you're like, right, what are these people doing and where are they in the country and how did they get there and why do I care? It's 5 or 6 seasons long, 6 episodes a season, like all of the best English television, because we can't for some reason do a series that's longer than 6 hours, but it benefits from that really tight storytelling. Love it, super recommend, with the massive caveat of do some research into the triggers that are in it, because there's a
nice. Jonathan, what about you?
I've mostly been reading lately, so I guess I'll talk about a book.
Ding.
Take a drink. Aaron and Ian are the same person.
Take a drink.
What? Oh, reading. Oh, yeah, I'm with you now.
We both dinged.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I've just been doing that more than watching stuff, other than watching stuff for sending purposes. But one book I decided to mention that was really fun. It's called The Stowaway, and it's written by James S. Murray and Darren Wearmouth. James S. Murray, from what I understand, I've never watched this show, but there's a show on, I think it's on True TV. I think it's called Impractical Jokers, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I love that show.
So he's apparently on that or has something to do with that, but he's also a novelist. This is the first book of his I've ever read. But it's the central premise is that this lady, Maria Fontana, is on a jury of this serial killer that's being tried, or this supposed serial killer that's being tried, named Wyatt Butler, and he's just as hideous as you can imagine a serial killer being. And one of the jurors doesn't believe there's enough evidence to convict him, so it ends up being a hung jury, and he gets released. And then you come to find out that she confesses to the media just so they'll leave all the other jurors. The jury gets leaked, and then everybody's harassing all the jurors. So she comes forward and says she was the one that did it. She was the one that, said he could, she didn't have enough evidence to convict him. So then it cuts to 2 years later, and she's kind of getting her life back together after being like harassed and all that kind of stuff by the victims' families and all that kind of stuff over the last couple of years. And her boyfriend and her kids decide to go on this cruise. And then while they're on the cruise, people start getting killed, and it's the same method and a lot of the same scenarios that are reminiscent of the serial killer that was put on trial. So then it kind of becomes like a whodunit of like, is this the serial killer or is this a copycat, and why are they after her specifically? And I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. It's got a really cool setting. I think a cruise is a really interesting setting for like a murder mystery or horror, however you want to look at it. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. I also thought I found it gets to the point where you realize it can only really be one person. So I don't know if there's so much in the who's doing it, but there is definitely a pretty big twist in another area of the story, which was really fun. But anyways, it was a really fun murder mystery, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it's called The Stowaway. So there you go.
Nice. And Danae is going to finish us off, but not with a Beyond the Sins, with a few words about the future. So
I like words.
Danae, what do you want to say?
Well, I wanted to just come to you guys and let you know that I'm going to be taking a step away from Behind the Sins for an indeterminate amount of time, and not to panic. Everything's going to be just fine. Leaving you in
you'll be well
very
looked after.
capable hands of Aaron and Ian and Jonathan. So they're going to continue to entertain every week. And then we're going to be working behind the scenes on scenes. Wow.
That's where it comes from.
It worked perfectly.
Finally got it after 2 years.
On some new content or ways for me to come back to the show and, re-engage with you guys every week with fun content and fun things to talk about. So it's not that I'm going away forever. I am just taking a break for time. And I'm probably going to be putting together another survey. So we're really curious about how you guys feel about the show. And we did this really early on, maybe like 2 years ago, early on.
Yeah.
Has it been 2 years? Is it 2 years this month?
Mm-hmm.
For this,
I remember doing it.
I think you might be right.
2 years this month, actually. Yeah. And so for new listeners who haven't heard about this poll from fucking 2 years ago, how could you not know? How could you not remember? We did a quick poll of questions about the show and your thoughts on the show and your favorite parts of the show. It got some really fun ideas, and it gave us a gauge of how you were enjoying what we had essentially just created. And we haven't done something like that in a while. So we'll be doing things like that, where we'll be announcing those kind of moments. And yeah, so I am excited to leave you guys with Dicer and Ian and Jonathan. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun. Or JID, as you could call them.
But don't.
Please don't.
If there's one thing that you could do for me while I step away for a moment, is just please call them JID.
Or Gia.
It has been requested. It has been requested.
Well, if we call Aaron Dicer, like he's got on his screen, it would be JID.
Yeah.
You know what JID works when you come back as well, because it would just be 2 Ds at the end.
What?
JID.
Oh, I see what you're doing now.
Just stick a D on the end, but it doesn't change the word. Why was that
No, I get it now. You're making sure that
me.
Danae feels welcome to come back anytime she wants, because it doesn't change the JID.
You don't have to change
that's
the
right.
name.
It just adds the D, right?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
The JID is consistent regardless of how many Ds.
Ian. Thank you.
There you go. Or maybe it's a silent JID. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to go live life and do stuff, yo. And I will see you guys soon. For the live show. I'll come back. And there's other things, obviously, you're going to hear my voice in other places. And if you are desperately missing my voice, go to my Twitch channel, /Danae Says.
Nice.
I love it.
Where I am streaming a lot more these days, because I'm obsessed with the video game that I've already talked to you guys about several times and won't go into here.
Well, Danae, you know how we feel about you. We love you. And it's absolutely amazing to hear your voice on the show every week. And like Danae said, it is unknown what the future looks like, but for at least the next little bit, Ian, Jonathan, and myself will be.
It's JID.
JID will be coming to you on the show. So
JIDing all over you.
No,
I've already got used to it.
Cheating all over. Yes.
Yeah, massive JID.
There's some questions in the live show. I'll just address real quickly. No, I'm not leaving CinemaSins. And no, we don't have to update Wikipedia.
Thank you. That is fair. That is fair.
Nice.
Well, there you go. And then let's see. So yes, Danae recommended Living Life and Doing Stuff. Jonathan talked about The Stowaway, which is a book apparently. Ian is watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix. And I saw.
Before we go on, just real quick on the Peaky Blinders thing.
Yeah.
The character that I play, that I'm streaming on Twitch, called Babs, is sort of loosely inspired by that world.
Oh.
Oh,
Nice.
100%. Yeah, you can see that.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. Very nice. And I saw Last Night in Soho, which you can check out in theaters. Well, that's going to do it for Behind the Scenes this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, you can mail it to us. P.O. Box 881, Republic, Missouri 65738. Hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Aaron Dicer. He is at Wits End. Now you're going to have to spell. You're going to have to spell that, Ian. At Wits End.
WHITTSINNED.
There you go. And she is at Danae Says.
How did you spell yours? WHITT?
WHITTSINNED.
Whitson.
I couldn't say yours.
Oh,
Whitson. Whitson.
That's fucking clever. Oh my god.
Oh, you can thank Mr. Dicer for that one. That was straight from the brain
You're
of
welcome.
Dicer. That was great. Really good.
DENEESAYS.
And at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Ian Whittington, Danae Hughes, a basket of muffins, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy Use Your Common Sense Day.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
Hey, Danae.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, vampire on Halloween, eh?
That is right. I'm vampire on Halloween, about to suck the interior of chocolate into my body, including my favorite, which is caramel.
How do you kill a caramel vampire? Do you know, Jonathan? You're the horror expert. How do you dispense of a vampire who doesn't drink blood but just likes chocolate caramel?
I have no idea. I would assume the usual stuff applies. You could decapitate them.
There's nothing in the lore about
everybody
sweet-loving vampires.
Changes the lore anyways. Depends on what movie you're watching. So
yeah. There's
not decapitation usually works on anything, or
that's true.
Take every body part, cut it off, separate it, bury it in different places.
Yeah, when in doubt, dismemberment works fairly well. If nothing else, to immobilize the threat.
If you've got a strong stomach, that's the way to go. Actually, I don't know how well I do. I've never been in a fight.
Yeah, me either. Danae, have you come to blows? I know you stood between people coming to blows. Have you ever come to blows with anyone?
Like in an actual a
physical altercation,
a surprise fight.
Yeah,
I have not been in a surprise fight, but I have been in several purposeful bouts, and then also my combat training with martial arts.
Right. Yes. When you say purposeful bouts, are you talking about your martial arts training, or are you talking about you and somebody else were like, okay, we're gonna duke it out?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd it go?
I won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of your martial arts training, or was it before that?
This was before.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before.
Okay. What was your go-to in physical altercations?
Well, I have powerhouse legs, so if I could get them leg locked, they're pretty fucked. And also, I'm really I'm wiry.
Yeah.
And so
scrappy.
If they grabbed onto me, I could kind of wiggle around, and my fingers would just jab into ribs, right in between things, and push into places on the neck that would cause them to cry. This particular season of my life did not last very long.
Okay.
Because the boys didn't want to play with me anymore. No, here we fucking go. So.
Hey, how's childbirth? Let's just detour to that. Oh, no.
Thanks, Ian. Ian.
No. Hey,
Ian,
to be fair,
you
it
have
worked.
to know when you can play and when you can't play, Ian.
But the detour.
Have I ever been happier not to be on a podcast?
It was the perfect time for me to exit and get my breakfast.
Exit? Get it? I'm going to let that one go.
I decided to order these HelloFresh breakfast things where it's like a cheese and artichoke omelet quiche thing.
Danae, that sponsorship is over. That sponsorship has ended.
I don't fucking care, but it's so good. So, how is everybody?
Good.
How are we? Oh, I got to turn my volume up. I'm sorry. Hold on. Here I am. I'm turning my volume up.
That sounds good.
No, that's going on to the recording. That's not going on the recording on my end. That's going on to the StreamYard.
So you just turn your StreamYard volume up.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, that works out perfectly.
Because it's just going to keep doing shit on this side.
No,
I really thought I really thought I fixed it, and I'm kind of bummed I didn't, but whatever.
Not the first time that's happened.
You're going to want to unplug the mic. Yeah, unplug it.
That is not how you fix things. That is, on a scale of 1 to fixing things, that's probably at the low end.
There you go. Twist it.
Mm-hmm.
Twist it. Find the hole.
Jerk
Twist
it.
it. Careful.
Yeah.
Careful with your fingertips.
Rotate.
Slower.
Faster.
Now faster. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too far. It's too tight. It's too tight.
Get it out.
It's too tight. You have to. There you go. You got to face it back towards you, right towards your mouth. There you go. Now put the other pluggy thing back in. You have to insert the male part into the female part on the back end.
It's now just not innuendo anymore. It's just saying what's happening.
He's fixing a microphone. What do you think is happening?
I don't know. Jonathan said it.
Nope.
All right.
Are we in?
Well, lesson 1 is I'm never having a threesome with Danae and Ian. Lesson 2.
What do you mean?
I've still got a chance.
I'll be back.
Oh no.
When it stops being functional and starts becoming a trap from Saw, that's probably the time to change over to a new one. Hello, Aaron. I want to play a game.
This would be the worst scene in a Saw movie ever.
You have spent your life presenting podcasts.
This is like Saw 25. They've like just run out of ideas. It's some guy trying to put his mic back together.
I think Ian wanted to talk about birth stories again.
No. Nope.
So go ahead, Ian.
That's
Thank you for bringing that up again.
No,
go ahead. The floor is yours.
No.
Go on then.
No.
I love how today's completely turned the table here. This is amazing. This is like top-notch professional stuff by Danae here. I absolutely love it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we talk about something? It's visual, entirely visual. So podcast listeners who this outtake is, we're going to have some description from you guys. First, I'll show you the pieces.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, those are. Oh, I know what those pieces are from. So this is a sad moment. I know what those. Can you tell what those are? Okay, now you know. She has shown you the rest of the.
It's a monkey.
Is that the one you made for Iris?
Yeah.
For that show.
No.
So
Bunga
the
Dunga,
arms
whatever that
have
show's
broken
called.
off.
Chico Bon Bon clothes.
Of Chico Bon Bon. And so, yeah, that is a sad day. It's a great
You
Chico
can't
Bon
put
Bon.
them back. Isn't it clay?
Yeah, well, it's polymer. I've already glued the tail back on. You can see the seam slightly. And then she comes to me and she says, "Bad news, Mom. Chico Bon Bon is broken. But the good news is you can fix it." And I was like, "Oh, can I though?
But what if I can't? Your faith in me, child, is astounding, but it's killing me."
Similarly sad story.
About polymer clay?
Did you break a Star Wars ship?
First of all, can somebody please boot Aaron? Second of all, you're going to feel like a real dick because, yes, one of my little ships broke.
How badly?
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for what my joke.
Ooh.
I feel bad that one of your ships has broken. So yeah.
He says, "Thank you."
Were you reenacting first Alfred Woodard in First Contact?
No, not that one.
I wasn't. No, so I was reenacting yesterday's Enterprise, where the Enterprise B...
Oh
now,
no! It just came in half. That's not like a small break.
That's a big break.
That's like that's the entire structure of the engine is just
where the people live.
Oh,
yeah.
The dome, everything.
The saucer section, yeah. So some Enterprises do separate at the saucer section. None of them do this. That's not canon. That's not meant to happen. And do you know the best part of the story?
You can hide your weed in there.
Second best part of the story. I need to reassess the parts of this story now and where they rank. The best part of the story is that my dad did it.
Oh no, your poor father.
Yeah, it was great because I was in the loft or attic, which is right above there. So the ship was on behind my head just there, and I was getting down some Christmas decorations for them. So they like to plan ahead. And I heard a crash while I was up there, and my dad just went, "Yeep."
Oh no!
I was like
a little yeep,
just a little yeep. And I just said, "Dad, you're right?" And he went, "Yep." No,
it's too quick.
That's not
too quick.
That was too quick. No, that's what's happened. And the next sentence is that it's something that I remember saying to him when I was younger and I'd broken something. It was, "Don't worry, I'll buy you a new one." And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh,
So I just said, "Which one is it?" Because I knew at this point something had broken. And he was like, "It's one of the Enterprises." So yeah, and it just happens to be my second favourite. So it's fine. It's okay. So it's fixable. It's repairable.
Parents, man.
So I have a story I have to tell before we invite everybody in. You may have seen it on Slack, but I have to tell it here as well. I went to a movie last night, and we'll talk about the movie I saw later in the show. But I went to a movie last night, and as you know, in most places, you have reserved seating now, right? Like you pick your seat, you go and sit in your seat.
This made me mad.
I know.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up.
So I go to this movie. I always sit back row center. There are reasons for this. I got into the habit when I was taking notes during movies for my reviews because I didn't want to distract anybody, those kind of things. And now I just do because I kind of like it. I like being in the back. I like that nobody's behind me. It's just, whatever. So I go in the entire back row, other than 2 seats on the end, are taken up by a group of 7 people. And immediately I'm like, I know my seat is right in the middle of them. So I step up there, and one of the humans in the middle says, "I think we're in your seat." And I was like, "Yeah." and then she said, "Would you? Do you want to sit between us? Do you want do you want to join our group?" I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, move, go somewhere. Like, you obviously have seats you paid for. You didn't pay for these seats. There's no way you split, your seats around me or whatever. But instead, of course, I'm just me. I'm like, "Now sit over here." And they're like, "No, you're alone." And then they started to patronize me. Like I needed to join their group because I was somehow incomplete because I had gone to the movies alone. Oh, you're alone. Why don't you sit with us?
You didn't make them break up.
I did think about it for a second.
Like I would have done.
I did think about it for a second, but I really didn't care. And so it was, it wasn't so much. Listen, I don't have as big of a thing about, I don't have this thing where I would be afraid to do that if it was something that I felt was important or whatever. But I do have this thing where I instantly gauge how much do I really care. And in that instance, I didn't really care. I mean,
I agree with that. I was more, when you told the story, I was more thinking about the way they handled it that pissed me off.
Exactly. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, because if they were like, "Hey, I know we took your seat. I apologize. We just weren't able to all sit together. If you need us to move, that's cool. But this is, something like that. Something like,
it's a gamble that you take, isn't it? And if you don't end up winning out, then that's fine.
But they were just, the audacity of what they said is just, just kills me.
I think it came from an elevated, fun, what they felt was fun energy in their group. I think those 7 people had decided we're going to have a fun night at the movies. They're joking
they're dicks. I think they're just assholes. I don't think there's no way to reason around the fact that they're assholes. So I think everything's about them.
So then the addendum to this is I sit down in one of those 2 seats at the end. I put a seat. I'm sitting on the very end. I put a seat between me and the 7th person in the row or whatever. And she turns to me and says, "Are you sure you don't want to sit with us? I don't bite I think she said, I don't bite very hard." And then she says, "But you might like it." And I'm like, what are we doing right now? What is going on now? Are you flirting with me? Are you making fun of me?
You were introduced to idiots and assholes.
It's been too long. Yeah. Pandemic has reset the social structure, and now people think that they can talk like they do online. This is a chat room, and they have that sort of boldness that when they go into a room that they can just be like, age, sex, location check, buddy, or whatever.
ASL. Hit me up. And then her friend, next to her was like, "Oh yeah, she's feisty." And I was like, "Okay, guys, all right, I'll join you. Where are we going afterwards? Am I coming to your place?
Let's do it.
What am I supposed to? Okay, first of all,
God.
What if I play into it?
Into that?
Yeah. What if I leaned into that? I totally could have. Then all of a sudden, I'm a creep, right? All of a sudden, I'm the giant loner guy who's like, Yeah, baby, you're feisty, huh?
How old did they appear? Were they like 20-somethings?
I think 20-somethings. I have a bad gauge on this. Everybody looks way young to me now. Like as I continue to age, like people.
Well, you have older kids,
and I have older children. That is correct. So yeah, I would say
they could have been anything from 15 to 35. Which
I think
we don't
you're right.
know.
I'm not kidding you. I think you're right. It absolutely could. I wouldn't say 35. It could have been anything from could have been 15. Could have been anything from 15 to 28. Probably somewhere in that range. I have such a bad gauge on that now. Plus, it was dark. It's a dark theater, which is my only explanation for why they were flirting with me in that way. Is that it was extremely dark.
They just saw that you were 6'9" and thought, we're gonna have a slice of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's odd people still find it weird that people go to movies by themselves too. Like, I don't know. Maybe I've just been doing it so long, I don't get that. And I see so many people by themselves at movies. So
you know what I find? I find that when someone questions like, "Oh, you do that?" They're really just revealing the things about themselves that they themselves could never do something alone, or they themselves are uncomfortable.
I think you're right.
It's always weird that we kind of are trained as humans to immediately question ourselves rather than be confident in our decisions. Like when someone says, "Why are you doing this?" You think, "Yeah, why am I?" Instead of, "Why are you asking me that fucking question?" Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because I think we assume that it's the whole of humanity that's asking us, not just this one person. So it's just as likely that they're in the wrong. Or, hey, let's imagine this. Nobody's in the wrong and just do what you fucking want.
Yeah.
I hope, I know it's really difficult to understand because it takes time and experience to think about this one person doesn't represent all, but we have that mentality. It's ingrained in us somehow. Mm-hmm. I'm going to experiment with my daughter. Iris, if this is in the future and you are an adult and you're listening to your mother, maybe I've passed away by now. First of all, you're killing it. You're doing great. I'll see you on the flip side. But, and I love you. That's probably the first thing I should say. Sorry, kid. No, I'm going to experiment with Iris. I really so for example, here's the example. We were at the playground the other day and she was playing with this kid that she thinks is her friend. I think she's horrible. I'm kidding, Molly. You're great. I watched this exchange where Molly says, "If you don't do this, I'm not going to play with you anymore and I won't be your friend." And so she wants, like, Molly wants the ball, right? So Molly takes, so Iris is holding the ball and she's like, "But it's my turn." And I sit back for a second because Mama's triggered. Emotional manipulation, not my fave. And so Molly turns around, she crosses her arms and she goes off and pouts. And she's like, "I'm never going to talk to you again unless you give me this ball." And she walks off. And Iris turns and she looks at me and she's like, "Mom, it's my turn with the ball, but I really want to play with her again. And I want her to be my friend." And this, she's my kid's 4.5 and she's processing this really, really well. Mm-hmm. So I say, "Iris, you're being emotionally manipulated." And she goes, "What's that, Mama?" And I was like,
"Oh, good. Let's open this door."
So I said, "She wants you to give her the ball and she will say something mean to make you do it. You don't have to give her the ball and she will play with you." And she finishes with her temper tantrum. And she says, "Oh, okay." And she walked off. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I'm going to give her the tools that she needs with which to see a human being coming and go, "Yeah, I don't know about you, sucker." I don't know if I'm turning my kid into a crazy person. But I love the idea of being like, "Oh, it's okay. She'll come around," instead of being like, "Oh, you should share." Don't fucking share. It's your turn with the fucking ball. Play with the ball. And if she doesn't want to be your friend, fuck off. That's the kind of mom I want to be.
Yeah.
Well, and she was sharing because she let her play with the ball first. Then it took her turn. That's sharing.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
No, we've dealt with that, man. It's interesting what kids will say.
I'm afraid for my kid and her friends that she's gonna have. I'm gonna be the mom, be like, "Get the fuck out of my house." I don't know. I'm scared.
Meredith might do that too.
Well, listen, you are doing what generations and generations of parents have done before you, which is work out your own issues through your children. Like that is.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a very natural
therapy.
thing. No, absolutely. Yeah. It is. We have to be careful with it. We're always going to have places where we take it too far, but I think it's healthy. I think it's natural. It will help your child understand who you are. And
so I shouldn't have shoved her down the slide. Shouldn't have called her mother and been like,
no, that was maybe a little bit too far.
Yeah, bursting the ball in front of her was probably a bit too much.
I will take this opportunity to put a cap on my story. The final moment was during the movie. Had the recliner reclined out, and this person who had offered to bite me decided they needed to go to the bathroom or whatever. So when they walked by me, because my feet are out there and I'm tall, she put her hand on my shin to kind of move my feet a little bit while she's, kind of scuffled by. Like, she touched me instead of, saying, "Excuse me," or whatever. And I was like,
What?
No.
What?
That's not okay. That's
He doesn't
really
understand
not
social
okay.
cues. That's not all
can
right.
Can you imagine the role reversal?
No.
Can you imagine me doing that to some young lady at the movie theater and be like, "Oh, your feet are kind of in the way. Let me touch your leg.
Let me move you and wink while I do it, and not come off like a total creep."
Yeah, no, that infuriates me when strange women touch me, and that has happened. Like they'll pat you on the shoulder or something. You know?
Oh man,
like, why are you touching me?
The last time I lost a bunch of weight, I would have women at church pat my belly. I felt like a pregnant woman. They would come up. They would come up to me and they would rub my belly. They'd be go, "Oh my goodness, look at you!" And I'd be like, "Yeah, look at you. Like, what are you
touching
doing?"
me? I once had a customer put his hand on my shoulder because I wouldn't refund an item, and I just looked at the hand until he removed it. I was like, now we can continue.
Good choice, Ian. Good choice. All right, we should get started. We're about 6 minutes.
No. I want Ian to tell a story about the time he stopped his shoplifter. I'm sorry.
Oh, next time.
Next time on BTS.
Why is my camera frozen? What's happening? Is
oh, Danae, your camera is frozen.
Look at my look. I'm like frozen. Sleeping. Look.
You look like the girl from The Ring.
Apathy also says, "I find horror movies funny. That's my motivation, but I agree with Aaron in spirit."
That's kind of scary that you find horror movies funny. That kind of creeps me out more than anything.
You know, I definitely
don't
find
look at that person getting butchered.
Today's back.
And you're moving.
I am moving. Sorry about that. I was frozen in time.
It's a Halloween trick.
Happy Halloween.
Your camera is possessed.
Are we going for Transylvania or Russia? Which one? Pick a lane, guys.
Okay,
listen,
Judger.
All Eastern European accents are the same. Come on.
Good.
They're all identical.
I don't have to know what accent I'm doing. I'm just having fun. Fuck.
No, fun will be modulated.
Wow. This is going to be fun.
Do you mean moderated?
I definitely meant moderated. No, I would like to modulate your fun. I'm going to turn it up
just a tad.
or down.
I'm just going to turn your fun up and down.
It kind of made sense.